I will let you know when it begins. Wonderful. So with that, let us begin. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneurship World Cup United Kingdom National Finals 2021. It's a great pleasure for us to see all of you at our event today. Moving on, the Entrepreneurship World Cup is the world's largest and most diverse pitch competition and support program for the next generation of entrepreneurs, bringing together startups at all stages from all across the world. Since launching in 2019, EWC has supported more than 300,000 participants from around 200 countries and awarded more than 2 million cash prizes in USD. And $1 million in cash prizes will be also given for grabs at the global finals this year in November in Riyadh, hopefully within a hybrid event. The top 100 global finalists this year will be getting access to $75 million of in-kind services and support, including those services of such providers as Amazon Web Services, Segment, HubSpot, and others. EWC is more than just a pitch competition with a chance of life-changing prizes. And every entrepreneur who enters the EWC ecosystem has immediate access to free training materials and resources from experienced mentors all around the world, as well as $25,000 worth of perks from dozens of partners like Zoom, again, Amazon Web Services, Shopify, and more. And we feel that you have already, our participants have already been exposed to these perks at EWC. And as mentioned, the global finals this year will be taking place in November. So moving on to proceeding with the organizers of our event. So EWC is brought to you as an initiative of the Miss Global Forum, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, and the Global Education and Leadership Foundation. And we today, on behalf of all the global hosts and organizers, are super happy to see you all. Now, I would like to invite one of our representatives, one of the representatives of TGELF for a very quick address. So Rohan Rao from our team, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Katya, for that. Hello, everyone. I'm Rohan Rao, as Katya mentioned, from the Global Education and Leadership Foundation. And it is a pleasure to have you all with us over here. Good afternoon, first of all, to our jury members, to our participants, and to everybody who's watching us on a virtual platform. On behalf of the global hosts of the Entrepreneurship World Cup, we as TGELF are delighted to have you here for the EWC UK finals. Just to tell you a little bit about TGELF, for us at TGELF, supporting entrepreneurship, supporting innovation has always been one of the core pillars and foundations of what we believe in. We believe in youth leadership. We believe in creating and empowering young people and having them go ahead and explore the various avenues and opportunities that are presented to them and utilize their creative energies to really find innovative solutions and create new innovative solutions to the problems of the earth. And I think that's what really captures the essence of entrepreneurship. And with that idea, I believe in 2019, since the inception of EWC, when we sort of conceptualized this along with Miss Global Forum and Jen, EWC really has been proving to become proving its efficiency as a global platform in providing startups with a chance to achieve international scale, to achieve networking opportunities, to achieve global support, as well as a whole wide spectrum of prizes, rewards, and perks since very nascent stage of the competition. We would really like to thank the experts that have joined us here today. James, Varun, Ravi, We really appreciate and are humbled by you sharing your time with us. And definitely, it's been a massive effort on the TGALP team also. And of course, I want to use this time to also thank my colleagues in bringing all this together. But thank you very much for your time, and best of luck. We're very excited to see what's to come today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rohan. With that, we will be moving on and presenting further our esteemed jury panel today, and we're super excited about that. So we have 3 jury members with us today, Varun, James, and Ravi, and thank you so much again for joining us. And these are experts of completely different backgrounds. So let us introduce them in a bit more detail. And in the meantime, my team, please keep track of the spotlighting. So Varun, our first expert, and if we can move forward to the next slide. Varun is a venture capital and private equity professional who is involved in investments initiatives focused around impact and sustainability, including renewable energy and agriculture. Apart from being fascinated in exploring the future of society and how global developments are shaping mindsets, relationships, health, business, and spirituality. Thank you so much again for being with us today, Varun. Next, we also have James, who is the executive chairman of Jumpstart, and James is an innovation, is also, excuse me. So James is the executive chairman of Jumpstart, which is an innovation and service company that connects innovation and community globally. And we're super glad to see you with us once again, James. And last but not least, we also have Ravi with us. And Ravi Kaushik is a partner at Waterbridge Ventures. And Ravi has 13 years of professional experience with 10 years of experience in private equity, venture capital, corporate finance, and more, as well as experience in different sectors and fields such as technology, consumer internet, healthcare, financial services, banking, education, etc. So we're super glad to have such an ample team of experts with us today. And before we actually proceed, we would like to once again inform you about the process today. Just a very quick reminder about the process, actually. So we will be having 3 minutes for you to pitch your startup, and we will be having 3 minutes for the jury panel to ask you questions. And as mentioned, the notifications about the time will be showing as per the subtitles at the bottom of the screen, the closed captioning feature that we have already tested. Please keep track, and this is a request to both our startups and our jury members as well. Please keep track of the notifications at the bottom of the screen, because we would really not want to interrupt you. We really don't want to interrupt the wonderful discussions that we're really looking forward to today. And also a very quick reminder for our jury members to rate the startups actually while they are pitching and while they are responding to your questions, so that we could be on time with everything. If there are any questions, if there are any issues, we're super happy to address them. Just message those on our chat. And without further ado, we would like to proceed with our first pitch of the season for the UK, actually, and we're super excited again for that. So requesting eNano to share your screen. Thank you. So Christian from eNano.
Hello, everyone.
We would request you to start your pitch. Your time starts now.
Okay, amazing. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian. I'm one of the co-founders of eNano. We've all seen one of these, stadium with a perfectly maintained pitch, but in order to maintain this pitch, we have to look very finely into the soil that's beneath it. And that brings a problem. Today, to maintain this perfect pitch, we have to overuse 30% more water, chemicals, and seeds. And this due 100% to lack of long-term reliable data. Just to paint you a picture, each of these stadiums and training pitches need 6 Olympic swimming pools of water every year to be maintained to that standard. And 2 out of these 6, more or less, swimming pools are just thrown down the drain. To that end, we came up with a solution for Inano called Oscar, which is a hardware and online platform, and Sprout, which is a robot. Together, they collect data from the soil and environment, and they transmit this data to a web platform where we report real-time data by location and through time, and we integrate this with third-party companies. How does it work? Well, basically, it's very, very simple. You say what, where, and when you want to analyze the data. The robot will just go automatically over the field, acquire the data, send it to a platform via 3G, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi, any communication you want to install there, you want to use, sorry. And then that data is available to the groundskeepers, analyzed by location or, for example, a heat map for him to act, or it can be integrated into third-party applications via APIs so they can take action on the field. And then back again into what, where, and when next measurements should be taken. In terms of the market, well, it's a huge market around the world with 38,000 golf courses, football pitches, rugby pitches, cricket, whatever you want, with US being the largest market by itself, and then Europe being the second largest. UK historically has been the home of golf, so it has the highest density of golf courses. And in London, there's particularly a high concentration of golf courses and football fields. Our strategy for the company is not only to tackle this sports market, but to use the football and golf course markets as a validation for our later jumps into agriculture. And that is enabled by a market agnostic robotic brain that we can incorporate into many different robot prototypes. I want to take you through milestones and roadmap very quickly. We have Innovate 2K grants, and we are demoing into Premier League clouds this upcoming September. We are very thankful for our partners, and I'm rushing through this because I'm running out of time, but I just want to thank all the team that has trusted us, and we are working through to develop a company that is world-class in solving sport maintenance issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Christian, for your pitch. And now let us proceed to our Q&A session with the jury members. So Christian, would you mind stopping sharing screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Christian, thanks. Maybe I'll go first. Very exciting. I think key question. Could you give us a sense on how is this better from an existing incumbent solution perspective, both in terms of time, money, utilization, because we understand water shortage, but what does it mean for companies that want to buy the solution?
Okay, so today there's between it may depend on in sport, but between 70 and 85% are man hours made into maintenance of the sport. All the time that is spent from a maintenance point of view, sorry. And knowing what to tackle and when to tackle it from data from the field can make huge changes into how to manage that field. Sorry if I'm kind of swerving around, but that could lead up to 60,000 pounds per field of cost-saving opportunities for the manager by just, for example, just one particular, it's very draining, which means just poking holes into the ground to alleviate compaction of the soil. Just having a good plan and not doing it all over the field, only doing it on areas that it matters, can gradually change and drastically change how much time we're spending and wasting in maintaining that field. Not on top of that, water, chemical, and seed savings are substantial as well.
Hi, Christian. This is James. Thank you for your pitch. I do have a question. I know some of the stadiums, at least in the US, they use artificial turf. And I think artificial turf doesn't require any water. How would this be better than artificial turf? I mean, maybe you could give me some comparisons.
So two things on that. First, there's been a link between higher injury rates with artificial turf than with natural turf. And the reason we're doing, the reason that artificial turf has been done before is because, well, there was less need for maintenance, but we're now shifting into hybrid turf. Hybrid turf meaning stitching or slates of artificial turf mixed between natural turf, where this type of solution is extremely required to maintain that strip of natural turf between the middle. In terms of maintenance cost and maintenance cost for artificial turf, well, artificial turf requires a high initial down payment to install everything, and the change going into this type of data-driven maintenance could be substantial in terms of long-term cost reduction. So we don't spend that much over time, and we say that initial cost that it will be changing into artificial turf.
Thank you.
Hi, Christian. My question is more around your business model and your margins. How are you in terms of developing the product? How are you pricing the product? So is it like a SaaS-based platform, or is it more like on the innovation, or is it more on the infrastructure side? And how are your margins particularly? And then how does that kind of impact your scaling across your existing market and also international markets?
Yes, I want to talk that in the last slide, but I had to run through it. We are basically targeting this as our robot as a service. So basically, you put the robot in the field. You don't keep ownership of the robot. We keep, Inano keeps ownership of the robot, but offers it as a monthly subscription basis and gets the data from the ground. And when you don't want it anymore, we'll take it back and serve another customer. That means, yes, of course, it means a lot of financial burden on us to produce the robot at the beginning, but that can be addressed through an initial down payment for the robot that we can keep, for example, 1 year service and then monthly. That reduces the cost on us, burden on us, but it keeps the barriers of entry very low for clubs that don't have the budget that Premier League clubs or NFL clubs may have in the future.
Thank you so much, Christian. I believe this is the last question, and thanks to our jury members. So next, we will proceed with the pitch of CTA Wellbeing and Mental Health. Chris, please share your screen. Right.
Is that coming through okay?
That's perfect. Your time starts now.
Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Blower. I run a company called CT Wellbeing and Mental Health. Over the last 7 years, I've conducted research into a rare form of degenerative brain disease called CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It has many different connections and associations with dementia. And sorry, I'm just trying to move the screen along, so bear with me. Over the years, effectively, I've developed a algorithm in hopefully fighting back against cognitive dysfunction and dementia, tailored towards a specific unique set of questions which performs a risk-based analysis. But further than that, I've gone into designing a new style of body armor, which can be used across multiple professions, ranging from NFL through to ice hockey, boxing, in training, sparring, right through to emergency services such as military, police, emergency personnel. It can absorb an impact up to a certain projectile bullet point mass. And the algorithm side of things, effectively, through the screening program, it works in conjunction with a biofeedback device as well. So I'm able to assess brainwave pattern, theta, beta, and gamma brainwaves, which essentially form part of the underlying behavior and diagnostic towards assessing any cognitive dysfunction. Over the next 9 years, it's estimated we have around 50 million people worldwide impacted by dementia right now, Within the next 9 years, the World Health Organization claimed that figure is going to go to 83 million, whereas the Alzheimer's Association International claimed that the figure is going to reach 130 million by 2050. So what I'm looking to do is put in place a recovery and prevention strategy, a catchment group, which has never been achieved before. If you look at the graph I've put there, you can see the number of people living with dementia through the millions, with the 50 million mark on the red scale there. I've done a cross analysis of the different countries, which hopefully show you a broad range of impact across the globe, essentially. So I've designed contract clauses that can cater for your generic impact, that offer protections across a variety of different fields. I've got my route to market there, which is essentially a 4-year plan. It's a phased plan. And I'm up to the stage at the moment when I'm just progressing with my marketing campaign right now. So it's just me, by the way. I don't have a specific team as well. It says its time's up, so.
Right. Thank you so much, Chris, for your pitch. And now let's proceed to the questions from our jury panel.
Hi, Chris. This is James. I know you didn't get time to finish the pitch, but maybe you could talk a little bit about your traction, which I'm interested in. You said you're up to the marketing stage. What's next, and how far are you from bringing this into the market, and how far are you from getting revenues into your company?
It's generating revenue slowly at the moment, as with everything. It's I've not been able to, but that's just on the screening program and some of the other products and services that I'm offering right now. I've not moved into the prototype design, but I've sourced the materials where I want to build the body armor from, and it's that. I mean, that industry on its own is a $14 billion industry just in the US, effectively, but they're spending on average $818 billion in dealing with dementia-related disease. Over in the UK, it's $26 billion, 26 billion pounds, my apologies, that the UK is spending on dealing with fighting back against dementia-related disease. And according to the WHO right now, there's no recovery or prevention strategy in place that actually caters towards fighting back. So it's giving us an ability to essentially create an opportunity to overcome the disease's ability to effectively prevent us from taking it over, which will give us a fighting chance, I believe, and that's what my business is around.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Chris, I really appreciate the space. I look at mental health and all this quite intensely, into wellness and so forth. But my concern is around your team at this stage. How are you going around the fundraise process, and how are you looking at scaling your team? I mean, it's only you right now. So how you built your team plan? Because this needs a lot of education in the market. I think it's a lot around that, right? So.
Yes, Baron. So I've put in I don't have a lot of experience in bid writing. So I've put together a number of Innovate UK bids, which is one of the avenues we have for applying for bid opportunities over here. Because I'm just me and my business, I can't get into knowledge transfer partnership without having 4 employees. So I'm quite restricted in that capacity. But when I get the right team together behind me, I can see routes in there to the market with the body armor prototype specifically. I want to go on and develop with IT within the touchscreen analysis. So you put the head device on. I can read the brainwave pattern whilst you're performing a cognitive task. But that's just me as it is conducting that exercise on a 1-to-1, 1-hour appointment basis right now.
Any other questions from our jury members?
Yeah, hi, Chris. Just
Hi,
one
Ravi.
quick question. Could you maybe spend, I know a really short time, but on the algorithm that you have built, because I would imagine that really is the key differentiator in what you're trying to sort of identify, build, and sort of solve for.
Sorry, can you repeat the question for me? Sorry.
Could you speak a little bit about the algorithm that you spoke about, that you've analyzed, studied, and built? So I would imagine that's your key sort of IP and differentiator.
Yeah, so the algorithm specifically assesses a unique, tailored set of questions around a person's diet, a person's physical exercise, whether they've been involved in any combat sports, impact sports, emergency services. And the questions and responses are fed into the algorithm, which ultimately will help me give a projected risk analysis. But whilst they're undertaking an exercise, a physical, it's a sit-down exercise. It's nothing strenuous. But as the business develops, there are certain partnerships I've built up right now with a US equipment supplier, and I've only just been recently introduced to the UK supplier through technology called SmartFit, and they are making inroads to the market with a cognitive LED-based system that can help you assess on any underlying cognitive dysfunction. But whilst they're doing that, wearing the biofeedback device, it's a two-pronged attack to fight back. So I'll be able to assess the specific brainwave patterns that have determined the areas such as the beta, which everybody has in general, but it's closely associated with stress. So if you've got elevated beta pattern in your brain, which this biofeedback device does, it'll help me determine if there's any additional risk. When we move forward to the next assessment, they only do 3 over a 12-month period. And at the end of that 12-month period, I'll be able to give you a feedback report of whether you've got any suspected risk towards the disease, what you can do to make changes such as dietary on a microbiome level, which is, it feeds into the angiogenesis, which is a medical term for impacting diet control on the microbiome level, essentially.
Thank you so much.
Chris.
Yeah,
Thank you,
really
guys. Thank
sorry
you.
for interrupting the discussion, but let us proceed to our next participant. And thank you, Chris, for the
Thank you.
presentation. Let us proceed to Shahrukh from NS Innovation.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, that's wonderful. If you could just proceed to present mode.
Thank you. Can you see my
yes, a
slide?
slideshow and then from the beginning, exactly.
Sorry. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Shahrukh Mohammadi. I'm with NS Innovations. We are developing a device called Soft Power. It's a novel resistive exercise device designed for healthy aging. We all know that as we age, with time, our physical ability and strength declines, but we can make a difference by being physically active. And the difference is quite significant. We also know the projections for population increase from the current roughly 6 or so billion people to 9 billion by 2050. The interesting projections here are that by 2050, 16% of world population will be at the age of 65 years and above, which is quite a significant number. We also know from data that specifically for the UK, that within different age brackets, significant portion of the elderly or 65 plus of age are unable to contribute economically to the country, basically due to ill health. And there are many reasons for that, but the ill health basically that is impacting elderly due to lack of physical activity is well documented, but it is made up of a number of key issues like dementia, various cardiovascular issues, diabetes, and so on. So Soft Power is a device that is designed specifically to help the elderly population so that they can exercise in lying down, sitting, and a standing position. the potential market opportunity is massive, given that the data from the government and various publications that about 40 billion pound every year is lost to the UK due to the ill health of the elderly population, and projecting that to other regions, you see the numbers are very significant. So in summary, soft power is a device designed to assist the elderly to exercise in bed, in sitting and standing position. It can be used by the medical professionals to help this particular age group. It can be used by individuals at home or as individuals or in group sessions, and it can also be used by employers to assist well-being of their employees and prolong their working life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shahrukh. Perfect timing. And now over to our jury panel with their questions.
Shahrukh, thank you. Maybe I'll start first. Is this product already live? Do you have a picture or video, anything that we can see, get a sense on what exactly it works and how does it work?
I do have a prototype which has been built by two engineering companies that work with me. The issue is, unfortunately, with the IP patent. The lawyers have warned me not to show any images because that will put the IP patent at risk. So I apologize for not being able to share that with you, but we have built a early prototype.
So with this prototype, have you worked with like any focus groups? Have you got some research and user data on how this product has been used and the kind of benefits that have come out of it? And how is that kind of working into your marketing?
I'm sorry, I could hardly hear the question. Your voice was muffled. But in terms of information, in terms of information and data, there is plenty of data available to say that this particular group needs to be targeted, and they have a huge economic impact on the society. So UN, for instance, declared this decade as a decade of aging. There's a lot of emphasis on this particular group in the population, and the device is really designed specifically to assist this group, which is a rapidly increasing population worldwide.
All right, thanks for your presentation. I think it really targets a market and population that needs to focus on exercise. However, without showing us any diagrams or giving us information or even competitors, we wouldn't have the ability to really gauge what else is out there. I mean, this is exercise in bed. Why can't they just exercise in bed with existing equipment? How are you different? And it would be great if we actually had a description, maybe a verbal description from you and how this works.
Sure, I can verbally describe it to you. It's basically, if you imagine a box, you will have two pedals on it. The pedals are hydraulically controlled with multiple degrees of freedom. As far as I know, there are no other devices like it. So hence the patent applications, IP patent applications. The existing devices are basically hospital-based devices. These are very large sets of equipment. And you need to take the patient to the hospital to exercise for an hour or so, which requires a lot of personnel, a lot of traveling to hospital and back, and booking the equipment. So you take the patient to the equipment, whereas with our device, the equipment is with the patient. So the equipment goes to the patient, and the patient can choose what time they want to exercise, whether they want to exercise in lying down in bed or sitting in a chair or standing position. So, and they can be monitored by a specialist remotely via Wi-Fi. So they can exercise individually or in groups. So there's nothing like it, basically. Hence the multiple IP applications for various aspects of it.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid the time is up. Thank you, Shahrukh, for your presentation. And now let's proceed to our next participant, Karu Music. Ross, the floor is yours.
Hi there, nice to meet you. I'll just share my screen. Is that working?
Yeah, it's perfectly visible. Just let's proceed to present mode.
Certainly.
Perfect. Your time starts now.
Great, thank you. Well, firstly, let me introduce ourselves. My name's Ross Anderson. I'm a partner with my partner, David Bryant. We're both ex-Universal Music directors. I was in creative, and my partner was the CFO for Universal Europe. So, and we both since have had a lot of experience in the music and entertainment sectors, and been part of the success of a number of globally recognized artists, as well as having our own SME growth successes since then. Including my own content company, which we took from startup to IPO in 5 years. So we came together on the basis that we wanted to go back to music and look at what the opportunity was there, and we wanted to make a true legacy project with a positive global impact. So we came up with Carry Music, which is in Welsh, which is love music, and we love music. What we decided to do was, at the end of 2019, start of 2020, try and test the market in terms of children's music, and create a media company which specializes in the exploitation of the creation, the rights ownership, and the exploitation of music via streaming, via physical product, and primarily really aimed at the children's market. So that's the 0 to 7-year-old market, and obviously the parents of. So since we started in 2020, excuse me for a sec, the Carry Music has had 20 separate releases, of which 6 are albums, and 1 NFT, and we've amassed a total of 500,000 streams. This is specifically in Welsh and English languages. We wanted to do a case study where we tested taking music and putting it into a different language to help education and learning of that language in Wales, which is an important thing here. And within that time, we've acquired the rights and formed ongoing relationships with 3 different catalogue producers, and those albums have been used in primary schools and by teachers to augment their learning. So the bigger picture is, I haven't got much time left, but the global music market is huge. And we see that the democratization of music is great in terms of streaming, because it's not owned by the major labels anymore. We have the opportunity to create music in different languages, acquire rights for music, and exploit those. And we would love your help to do so. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. And now over to our jury members. Any questions that you might have?
Happy to go first, Ross. Very exciting and interesting. Quick question. Obviously, right, the segment that you have, there is, I guess the obvious question is, there is tons of free such music available on YouTube and a couple of other places. So one, what's unique about this, and hence why should people, I guess, pay for this?
Well, the YouTube streaming and everything else is the way that they consume it, but obviously YouTube pay us as rights owners to have that music on their platform. So the best thing about the children's market is, as a pop artist, and a global pop artist can have a certain amount of success, but if you look at the streaming stats of everything from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to any of the sort of the real smash hits of the children's world, they've got billions and billions of streams.
Massive, yeah.
And that's where we make revenue, by creating assets for children to watch, and putting those onto YouTube Kids, Spotify Kids, and also just YouTube generally. Hits like Baby Shark and Peppa Pig and all those things. I'm sure you're aware of them because they're massive, and that's what we create. That's what we're suggesting.
So you would be a B2B company and not a B2C company? Quick follow-up.
B2B, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, as via, B2B in terms of being via those streaming platforms. We've currently, we put our music onto all the existing global platforms, and the big ones being Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Ross, you used a key word in NFT. How do you see NFT business growing and traction in terms of that and revenue?
Well, NFT was a test for us in terms of what we did. Just to explain it quickly, was that we created an NFT for a primary school. It was made of primary school children's drawings. The idea of which the most of that profit would go to that primary school. I love the idea of a whole set of kids being worth millions of pounds in a year's time, and so it was a real test for us. Now we haven't sold it yet, so I'm still trying to work out how we monetize it. But the idea is that unlike Van Gogh or whoever, who sells a painting for £5 and only then years later does it make lots of money. These obviously, as they go along, they keep generating back to the source owners, so generating revenue. So I like the idea of that. It was just trying to get our heads around the whole model.
Hey Ross, I know you mentioned previously that you actually had an IPO on a previous content creation platform. Was that geared for kids as well?
No, that was for creating music video content for major artists, and advertising.
And I just want clarity. Right now, I think in your deck you said that you're targeting the 0 to 7-year-old market. Is that the narrow field that you're working on? And what's next beyond that? Are you creating something for a larger audience?
Yeah, we've also released an album by an artist called Jodie Marie, who's a pop artist, and she's had some success, which has been great. We do look at those other options and definitely open to them. I think at the moment the thing that's driving revenue is that market, that's the 0 to 7. Those kids, if you have children, you probably know they tend to watch things again and again and again and again and again, and they're sort of just on repetition, and that's what we need. We need that repetition. And the numbers online in terms of as I said, the kids music stuff and the kids animations, they really seem to get the numbers.
Thank you so much, Ross. Thank you so much to our jury members. Now let us proceed to our next participant. Amir from Maasref, over to you.
Can you see my screen?
Actually, no.
Give me
try
one
again.
sec. How about now?
Yeah, now it's perfectly visible.
Great. Thank you so much.
Your time starts now.
Everyday people in distressed economies across the globe struggle with a broken retail banking industry. In places like Lebanon, the market is characterized by the lack of trust, high inflation of about 140% in Lebanon, withdrawal limits, and restricted access to financial services, which is banning people from accessing their savings even if they kept it in dollars in the banks. The result of that is really the worst thing you want in any economy. The middle class is unable to save and store wealth. Usually, ultra-high net worth individuals avoid that risk by protecting their wealth and savings in offshore private banks, which is an expensive and complicated process that the middle class conventionally can't afford. I spent my time at the University of Oxford thinking about possible ways of governing the global economy to help the middle class in distressed economies save and secure wealth. And in fact, we can do something about it. The recent changes in regulations internationally, in particularly Swiss regulations, and the recent maturing and available tech and APIs now enables us to service these people and do something about it. That's why we're starting Maasref. Maasref is a Swiss bank for everyone. We want to provide a secure place to save and store wealth and access ethical financial products for middle class in distressed economies from Switzerland. The market potential is absolutely massive, and we want to start from Lebanon. And our market fit studies is so promising that 100% of the people we interviewed sign up to become early adopters. Out of these, 65% are willing to send 70 to 90% of their savings to us. We have 6 diversified revenue streams, 3 would start from the get-go, like transaction cost, interchange fees, and subscription fees. And 3 will come later on due to compliance mechanisms like net interest rate spread and loans, market fees, and anonymized data monetization. We have the right team to do so, alongside an impressive world-class board of advisors from experience in international financial regulation, banking, fintech, and product development. We're still early on, but we won $50,000 to keep working on our product, and we've been into subsequent round in multiple international competitions. Currently, we're testing our product in Arabic on the ground in Lebanon. We would love it if you join us in shaping a future of banking that is built on financial inclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. And now what do our jury members have to say or ask?
Amr, this is fantastic. I mean, being in Dubai, I see a lot of this happen and play out with my Lebanese friends, even in Lebanon. So I think congratulations on getting this far. What is your challenges or your process with the local central banks or the local banking system or the regulators there? How are you managing that, and what's the process, and how have you overcome it?
Yes, thank you so much. So in regards to the local regulator, we're actually positioned in a very unique place. Since we are focused on savings and wealth management, we have a green light to access markets like Lebanon. So we don't have any barriers to solicitate market or engage with Lebanese people as long as we're engaging to providing this service in particular. Our biggest barrier is actually the Swiss regulator, and convince them that we have enough mechanisms to do our due diligence and KYC, so to verify that we're not engaging with money laundering or counter-terrorist or terrorist activities funding. But recently, the available APIs and the tech that we're seeing by building robust financial IDs, and after engaging with a lot of lawyers and experts actually working closely with the regulators in Switzerland and in Lebanon as well, we think that we actually can do it. We definitely realize that this is not a low-hanging fruit, but we can do this, and the potential is absolutely massive in changing the lives of millions of people.
Thank you for your presentation. I think this solves a real problem, especially what's happening in Lebanon. But as you scale and grow, how would you deal with the compliance issues that affect a lot of different fintech companies around the world, especially working with, let's say, Americans on your platform? How would that work out? Yes,
thank you for the question. To be honest, the markets which we are focusing on is where we see a lot of problems in terms of distress. So the US in particular is not a market which we are looking for. We're more interested in Venezuela, Lebanon, parts of the Middle East where actually inflation is very high and people are struggling with the local banks because they're not servicing them well enough due to many reasons. So we see ourselves shifting from Lebanon, then expanding a bit to Jordan and Egypt, but also listening to where the demand is coming from in places like Latin America. And in these places in particular, we see ourselves being able more to engage with people and obtain a lot of clients.
Great, thank you.
Just a follow-up question, Amar. Very interesting. Actually, two minor questions. One, what about countries that have capital controls and hence essentially capital leaving the borders of the country, and how would you operate there? One. And second, what's your sort of opening product, your key opening product that you're moving to the market with?
Yes, thank you for the question. I'll answer the second part first. So the key product at first is a savings and current account, just a simple savings and current account. And then we'll move on towards cards and multi-currency account and down the road, hopefully in the future, to a marketplace for financial services. But starting from there, really the savings core aspect of banking, which the middle class really need. Now, in regards to capital controls, they do exist, but we're really in a very unique place where people are still able to send money outside. And also, we need to kind of understand that, for instance, in Lebanon, $5 billion used to go back into the country every year from remittances for those diaspora who are living outside. This has virtually now stopped and is located in pools outside of the country, mainly with friends and families abroad. So what we're doing is actually providing the store of wealth and the stop for these pools to get back into control of these people who are still stuck inside. In addition, people are not using the banks now, so the money that is being saved now, perhaps under the beds, is not economically viable in the country. So what we will be doing is we're allowing actually the space for these transactions to happen, so the economic activity happens in the ground in Lebanon. But yet people will still be under this limited threshold for a middle-class citizen to send this money outside. And from our market interviews with people are still willing and wanting to actually send across these monies, even if it's slowly through this minimum threshold.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for the detailed presentation. I'm afraid the time is up. And now let us proceed with our next participant, who is B Space. So Shika, over to you.
I'll just get my screen shared.
Sure, of course.
All right, hopefully you can see this.
Yeah, that works great. Let's just wait for it to load. Yeah, perfect. Your time starts now.
All right, great. So hi, my name is Shikhar Singh, and I'm here to present to you vSpace. Our company is currently in the education domain, and we're in the idea stage of development. Our vision is to construct the future of learning spaces that allow students to prepare for vital examinations that sets them up for high rewarding careers and university placements. Now, data provided by UNESCO in picture A shows us that between 2020 and 2025, there's to be an increase in 150 million students being enrolled in higher education. These are the students that vSpace plans to capture. The problem vSpace is working on is that students have voiced that distractions and unideal study conditions at their place of residence has made learning difficult when preparing for vital examinations. Additionally, there are currently no formal platforms that provide students with the necessary equipment, resources, or interactive group learning sessions within one learning space. Here's where vSpace comes in. We plan to create a safe and easily accessible physical space that creates the ideal learning environment for students to undergo vital exam prep. The space shall have a blend of private and social working zones and the necessary resources and facilities to undergo revision. We shall also have group teaching rooms where teachers and tutors with the relevant experience can provide group subject revision lessons. Our business model to generate revenue will be through selling membership packages to students, and different packages will provide students different accesses to parts of the facility, including the working space, the group teaching session, and the general facilities. The group teaching sessions involve what we mean by that is space will be provided for teachers and tutors to deliver group revision lessons lasting 1 hour each on a particular subject. The student can purchase lessons in bundles of 10 minimum, and the revenue from this will be split between the tutor and vSpace. Now, since we are only in the idea stage, here's our initial estimate for the revenue. We plan to have 50 total seating zones in the space and 3 group teaching rooms that can seat a maximum of 10 students. In a month. We plan to charge around £1 per hour for the seats, giving us a monthly revenue of around £7,500. As for our lessons, we plan to charge £12 per lesson, with students buying lessons in a minimum bundle of 10, with 10 students per room and the rooms operating for 10 hours daily, giving us a monthly revenue of around £12,000. Extrapolating this for the year, we plan to earn around £195,000, taking into account holidays. Our major costs will lie in cost of renting out the area, which is something that we're working on as it depends on the location and the size of the space that we plan to get. Our expansion plan would be opening multiple facilities around the city and opening it to opening facilities in different countries to students with different examination system. And that's it from me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. And let's proceed to our Q&A.
Sure. Yep.
Great. Have you identified any particular areas and spaces and venues that you feel you would be able to use? And secondly is, how easy is it for you to scale into other venues across the city or country in which you're operating? I mean, you have to build relationships with real estate people. I think there's going to be a big part, since that's going to be a main cost. How you feel you're going to optimize on your main asset?
Yeah, so essentially what I have thought of so far, since we're only in the idea stage, that this opening a space would be most beneficial around multiple schools. And there's many areas in the UK where multiple schools are built together, or where multiple, it's near a university sort of area. So a place where we can find a lot of students is somewhere we plan to open. And luckily for us, these spaces are not exactly in the city where costs are likely to be much higher. Schools are built a bit further from the main cities. And we've looked at some places. For example, there's a place which is around 50 minutes from London, and it gives us a reasonable estimate for our costs. So that's essentially what we're looking at, but definitely is our main thing to be looking at right now, as our costs to align that area where we get this space.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm actually based in Hong Kong, and I guess tutorial centers are getting high marks in exams is a big priority. So one thing is we already have tutorial centers. How would you defend against tutorial centers who already have pre-existing spaces that just maybe tweak the business a bit to offer some flexibility in staying and remaining and getting different types of tutorials in addition to their core tutorial? So how would you defend against that?
Okay, sure. So the way we've, again, these tutorial centers would, I'm not sure how they are. I believe they might be just focused on delivering tutorials, but we also plan to provide a space for students just to come and revise. And this is not just students of particular school, but students all around the city can come in and revise in this space, which is provided for them. That's one aspect. That's where we differentiate. We also plan to provide them a library of relevant resources, be that textbooks or past papers for revision. In that sense, that's one aspect. And secondly, this might be something, it might be a tie-up that we do with these current tutorial centers. It might be an idea that we could pitch to them to improve their current centers. Possibly that's an idea as well. But since we haven't tested this idea out, our first sort of goal would be to open in an area which doesn't have the sort of facility and see the response we get. And from that, any improvements that we can make and learn from that. And it might end up being something more beneficial that students see than current tutorial centers that exist.
Hey, hi, Shikhar. Have you come across, and it's more of a suggestion as a question, something called Study Stream on YouTube, where essentially kids from around the world join a certain stream and they are virtual live together, doing some of the exact same things that you spoke about, except of course, maybe the offline cafe. Have you considered converting this into a virtual version of itself, where you bring in mentors, questions, doubt solving, other ways to monetize as opposed to giving physical? Because I think that could really hamper how and where you can scale, especially the starting point, which is being rents, and you're asking students to pay you to sit and study. Have you considered a virtual version of what you're building?
So essentially, we were trying to move away from the virtual version. We feel that students coming into an environment where they see other students doing examination prep would essentially be beneficial to
Seems like you froze.
is to, oh, okay. Our essential goal is to bring in students to revise in this space because of unideal conditions at home. That is why we plan to bring in students rather than hosting it virtually, because we understand being virtual in a home environment, you might have lack of access to a Wi-Fi connection or a quiet place to be revising. And that's why we plan to bring them into our facility where all of these resources will be provided for them in a space, and they don't really have to think about these external issues bothering them from their exam prep.
Thank you so much. That would be it, I believe. And let us proceed now to our next startup, Caroline from Tap Out. The floor is yours. Caroline?
Yes, 1 second. I'm gonna share. There you go.
Also, if you mind having your video on, that'll be wonderful.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Thank you.
Where do I go?
You can play from start.
Start video. Okay.
Perfect. Your time starts now if you're ready.
Okay, sure. Hi, my name is Caroline, founder of Tap Out, a new platform that helps people stay less on their phone to redirect their time towards enhancing their well-being. Technology and especially social media have become such a major factor in our lives. However, because we've become so much influenced by it, is actually affecting many aspects of our daily activities. Social media companies are setting the standards of how we must live. We've lost touch with reality, and according to recent research, it is affecting our mental health. In fact, there is a strong link between social media, insecurities, and depression. And what about our data? We have no control over it. We've become products that only generate billions for these social media companies. So what's our solution? At Tap Out, we believe you must have the choice to pull the plug whenever you want to. Our platform helps you take control of your data, pays you for it, and rewards you to disconnect from the distractions of social media to dedicate time to your well-being as a whole. So how does it work? Users will be asked to select the apps they would like to disconnect from. The next step will be choosing an activity of their preference and the duration. Once the user select the tap out button, timer begins and they won't be able to access the apps previously selected. Once the activity is completed, users will earn digital coins and will regain access to the social media apps again. Lastly, they'll be able to spend their earned digital coins within our marketplace or simply donate them towards a good cause. So how are we going to make money? We will charge brands in our marketplace 20% commission per sale. When our users attend an event through our platform, we will charge 0.50p per ticket sold. Users will also be charged a monthly subscription fee to boost their digital coins earnings. And they will also have the option to watch ads and earn bonuses and digital coins. And lastly, businesses will be charged a fee to access our users' data. 70% will go to the user and 30% to tap out. So what's the opportunity? There's 4.20 billion users on social media. We believe there's a market for tap out in this segment where we can actually help users balance their usage of social media. According to a recent report, 75% of online users will share their data in return for rewards. Also, 70% of individuals interviewed by the European outdoor industry are looking forward to outdoor activities after the COVID-19, post-COVID-19. This is the team. The team has 5 years experience in consumer behavior analytics and 10 years experience in marketing. And we were also able to have the support of leading companies such as NatWest and Santander. Tap out people, their choices and mental health comes first. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And now over to our jury members.
Hi, Karen. I'll go first.
Hi.
I wasn't quite clear on the sort of core use case because you have a lot of free utilities and apps that also allow you to control your usage and time on the apps, on the mobile phone, specific apps, and they're all utilities and free. So why should sort of people use as opposed to that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
There are a lot of free apps on Google Play Store, which allow you to control your usage on specific apps on the phone, set your time limits on specific days, etc. Why should they choose to use Tapper as opposed to that?
Okay, so the reason why I believe our idea has potential is because we are actually focusing on raising awareness around how data is collected. People don't actually know what's the process behind it, and we feel that it's only fair for users to know how their data is collected and sold onto third party. And also we want to make sure users understand that they can have some sort of let's say boundaries in terms of their social media usage. The big the big social media companies don't actually have stoppage queues in their platforms, which is something that, you know, through a lot of research that we've made and documentaries that have come out, it seems to be a natural big problem for people not to be able to disconnect themselves from the virtual world, which is why we are trying to focus on these two aspects the most.
How are the companies such as your partners? You mentioned Santander and NatWest. Firstly, what is the agreement with them, and how are other companies, merchants, retailers? What's the process with them, and how is that?
Okay, so for NatWest, we were actually, we actually launched a campaign on crowdfunder called Back a Business, which was supported by NatWest. And that was for us to be able to test the idea and see if it was viable and if people would actually think is a good idea. So we launched a campaign on Crowdfunder UK, and we were able to get over 800 supporters to pledge on our campaign. So, you know, that was a really good data for us. So, you know, we took part in this competition called Back a Business, and we were able to arrive third to this competition. And the way NatWest was able to support us is by pledging on our campaign. So once we were able to reach a certain number of supporters, they would pledge on the campaign as well. And yeah, and for Santander, we actually took part in a competition, a university competition, and we won. We were one of the 2 finalists for the competition.
Yeah, maybe you could talk, do you mind?
Sure, James, yeah, go ahead, yeah, of course.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about what's in the pipeline beyond NatWest. Do you have anything that could bring you into, I guess, a revenue mode, or what can get you future traction quickly? Do you have anything in the pipeline?
Okay, so for NatWest, we literally just had their support in terms of the campaign. In terms of traction, what exactly do you mean?
Do you have anything beyond NatWest in the pipeline to validate your product?
At the moment, no, just because we are still at concept idea. So we've developed a prototype, but we actually, apart from Santander and NatWest, we don't actually have anybody else on the pipeline.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you, jury members. Just a quick reminder for our jury panel to continue evaluating our startups on the platform. And next, we will have Creative Invention Hub Limited. Emmett, over to you.
Thank you very much.
If you could have your video on, Emmett, if that is possible, that would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Effium Eme Omor, and I'm the founder of Creative Invention Hub. Creative Invention Hub was established with the overarching goal of supporting young adults in active employment in striking the balance between their personal and professional lives. In the United Kingdom today, we have about 27.9 million employed workers. And the majority wanted to experience difficulties in spending time with their family as their work encroaches into their personal lives. We also have about 12 million recorded elderly adults, as well as 14.1 million disabled people who are unable to carry out their daily tasks without any form of external intervention. So now the big question here for us is, what if we could change all of this? What if we could help them to strike that balance? What if we could support the vulnerable to a function with little or no human support? So if there was a way to achieve this, then we want to build that way, and we want to achieve this by using technology to automate daily repetitive tasks and to support the mental and emotional health. We have a range of solutions in the early stages which include the home manager robots, the AI-powered mental health support system, the AI and mixed reality-powered virtual workspace. We also have the AI and financial companion and the automated surface cleaner. And then also we have the intelligent waste bin. We have a rough estimate of our total addressable market to be at about 100 million pounds. And this is based on the size of the market, the demand as indicated by our primary and secondary market research. We have streams of revenue, which includes revenue generated from sales of our SaaS solutions, sales of our hardware and home office solutions, as well as consultancy services. We're looking to break even in 2023 with our first annual revenue projected to be about 1 million pounds, and we envisage an increase from that. So far, the business has been incorporated. I'm currently setting up I've established partnerships with Microsoft for our infrastructural needs and partnerships with Intel and Dell for our hardware needs as well. We're looking at a rapid expansion to the US and Hong Kong in the next 1 to 2 years. Our unique selling point is our ingenuity. We're looking to develop solutions using a novel approach, maintaining our integrity every step of the way. And so far, we are the first of our kind in the work-life technology niche. Our solutions are designed with diversity at heart and with the intention of being easy to use. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now let us proceed to the questions from our jury members.
I know we skipped over the last slide around your team, but can you maybe elaborate a bit more on your team? Like, are anyone specialist in this particular area? How have you built out the technology? What insights have you used? Have you got some experts in terms of technical expertise, and a bit more on that, please?
Okay. In the past few months, I've been working on this on my own, as I am a software developer with over 10 years in the tech domain. And I've just recently brought on board a medical doctor, as our solutions are meant to directly impact the human health. And also, I have just also recently brought on board a CTO with about 15 years in the industry.
Maybe you could elaborate. Maybe you could elaborate on the revenues. I saw that you actually had a quite aggressive projections on how you're going to break even. In 2021, you actually had some revenue, or you're predicting some revenue. Are you on track for this?
Okay, we're expecting to generate our first revenue from the year 2023. We were looking to set up our development team this year, and then commence the development, and then look to sell from next year, at least our first product. But as it is right now, we are intending to use the year 2021 and 2022 to develop these solutions, as they are in the very early stages. And I've been working on building the prototypes myself, and with the help of some external consultants. But we are looking to release, at least to have a fully developed solution by 2023, and then we hope to commence sales as of then. And then based on the demands that we have for solutions like this, and also the market size, we really believe that we are going to meet up with this revenue projection. And then we've set our targeted break-even dates to be in 2023.
Just a very quick question. What's your opening product? The one that you want to go to the market first? Okay. Wasn't clear to me.
We have, so far, my top 3 products are the AI and MR virtual workspace, the AI and blockchain powered financial companion, and also the automated surface cleaner. We have developed the conceptual prototype for the surface cleaning device. I've built the low fidelity prototype for the financial companion, and I'm also working on the virtual workspace myself. And I'm looking to, of those three solutions, based on the market demand, which will be evidenced by further research we carry out, I would then choose from one of those three solutions to go into the market with.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you to our jury members. And then let us proceed to our next participant, Suresh from Arcvane AI. Over to you.
Yeah, you can see my screen. Yeah, just let me.
Yes, your screen
Yeah.
is visible.
And my video as well.
That's perfect. Your time starts now.
Yeah, hi. So first of all, I would like to thank you, all the team members, for inviting us to this opportunity to present our company and the portfolio of our innovation to the jury members, and as well as to the team members and my fellow competitors as well. My name is Shourish Banerjee. I am CEO and the founder of Arcvane AI. Arcvane AI is basically a AI product studio. So our vision is to democratize the power of AI to drive the innovation, because we believe innovation can come from any place and from any people, be it doctor, be it farmer, be it anyone. Okay, so that is why we have been in this vision of and this journey to make these accessible to everyone. The problems worth solving, which is a very common, that at this point of time the bottleneck of AI innovation is actually the AI expertise itself, and all the surveys we have done so far that points towards the same direction, that either the AI expertise are too expensive, or there are not many talents who understand the data science and machine learning and all those areas of the thing. And one of the key point I would like to point out specifically, that most of the time we have seen the AI and the machine learning related stuffs need much data, and if you cannot share the data, then there is no point of building any machine learning model on that artificial data set. And that is why with the current GDPR and the data privacy law and all those things, it is very difficult to share the data and create the AI model. We have created our solution based on that approach, to have a low code, no code solution where you can drag and drop, and it should be a self-service tool. It should be driven by the community. There will be a marketplace as well, and we have a capability which is a very unique one, where you can execute the code to the remote infrastructure. And this is our opportunity size and the competition, where by 2027 the market will reach to 65 billion. We know that there are few of the competition in the market, and that means that we have multiple opportunity in the market, and our unique value proposition is the tool we already have the flexibility and the configurability and the reusability in respect to and in contrast of our competitors. And then this is the advantage of our product studio. We can do multiple aspect of the solution. So be it the studio for multidimensional use case, marketing, operations, and all the types, it can be used by both the developers and the business users, even if they don't know how to do the AI and machine learning. As long as they can ask the right question using the English language, they would be able to do that. We don't host the data or the processing infrastructure. It is very transparent, so we can execute any process. So any SaaS company who wants to do the AI-based innovation, they can use this tool to build the innovation. These are the early adapters we already have. So we are doing multiple paid POC projects as of now. Since our start of trading, since May, we have been able to do 15K of sales and revenue.
Thank you so much, and sorry to be interrupting you, Suresh. The time is up.
Okay. Thank you.
Let us proceed to our questions from the jury members.
Yeah. What is your current market, and how do you plan to scale this outside those geographic borders? And how are you working on your marketing so people know about your company?
Yeah, so we have been working with a couple of members. So our advisor, the business advisor board, there is one sales guy and one COO of a European insurance company who is advising us in a stealth mode. And so we are getting contacts. So we have already done the early adopter surveys and doing the paid POCs, and we are in touch with 4 companies based in US and UK to convert kind of private beta revenue of 200K by end of December. So that's the part we are working on.
How do you, I mean, I understand what you're doing. I think it's very interesting.
Go ahead.
How are you, Suresh, finding the right talent to build out your talent pool, right? Because you're saying yourself, it's difficult to find these AI experts.
Yeah, so
right, because you're going to have a lot of demand at some point.
It's a great question because I am one of the community member of a leading crowdsourcing platform called Topcoder. So I am in touch with them as well because that is having a crowdsourcing platform. So we have a plan that once we have the marketplace ready, because right now the opening product doesn't have the marketplace, it's only the tool. So once we have the marketplace ready, so we would invite the Topcoder crowdsourcing data scientists so that they can start building these things from ground up, and there will be multiple components over there.
Suresh, thanks for this. How are you solving the problem of data? Because as we all know, a lot of companies can build AI-driven tools, but you don't just have the data to perfect those engines and those tools over time. And early stage companies or most companies don't have. So are you solving that problem at all?
Yes, that's an absolutely spot on question. I have a meeting with one company, which is an Italian company named Expert AI at 3 p.m. today. So we are helping them to solve the same problem, because what we do, we have the capability by which you can execute your process. So let's say a SaaS company have some process and they can execute their process on customers in enterprise infrastructure, rather than the data needs to come to the SaaS company to process that AI model. So we have reversed the way of execution. So that's how we are solving the process. We have created a process by ourselves.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks for the questions. And now, last but not least, let us proceed to our final participant of the day, Mary, Academic Fish. Over to you. Mary, if you could proceed to present mode. Also, you're unfortunately not audible. It seems like you're still not audible, Mary. During the tech run through, it was all good. Maybe it's just my own problem. Does anyone else?
No, Mary is not audible, unfortunately, despite not being muted.
If you could try and check your settings, Mary. Because you're still, just unmute yourself, Mary, if you could. No, I guess, should we,
no.
Would we mind waiting till Mary, if you mind rejoining very quickly? Or perhaps you could join from another device. Perhaps you could join from your phone. Thank you.
No, still absolutely nothing.
I'm going to video. Look,
Oh,
I'm
that's
going
perfect.
something else. I'm really sorry about this.
That's perfect.
Right.
Let us proceed now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
loud and clear.
Ah, right, let's go for that one again. Right, let's go again. Sorry about this because should be right. So part of my audio, you won't hear whatever's happening here. You can still hear me. Yes?
Yeah, that's all good. That's all perfect.
Right, okay. Sorry about that. Here, listen, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm just going to start from the very beginning. My name is, this is Academic Fish, and my name is Mary McIntyre. I'm the founder. Basically, Academic Fish is an inclusive app, as you can read there, for the understanding and translation of subject-specific academic STEM language. It started between English and Chinese, and this year we've just added in Irish, and it's for post-primary to university level education. So just checking you can still hear, yes?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So what is STEM? STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, and it's a very particular focus in STEM and education. And why the app has been developed is because of the paucity of information and resources. Basically, it's very hard to find, and it's all in different places, glossaries all over the place. And students, I've worked in Asia, in Spain, and nationally and internationally, and they're very frustrated, parents and teachers. So I've just finished my last contract, and there again, I met frustrated parents, teachers, and students just had no confidence in provision out there. So 72% of students use various translation programs. I'm going to show you Google Translation here, for example. I'm sure you've all tried to use Google Translation for other countries. This is a Google Translation, and underlined in red, it's incorrect. But 72%, high numbers of them, are using Google for translations, and it is causing difficulties. So these students really need help. And that's the most important thing about this app. One of the USPs of the app is it's done by teachers in China on these curriculums in the UK and in Ireland. They are teachers teaching in their own language, and they're teaching international curriculums. So pre-POC, the POC is currently in the App Store at the minute under academicfish.com and under AC Fish in Samsung. Basically a pre-POC survey. This is how many times the app would actually be used, prepared to pay for, use it every day, and prepared to pay for premium features from $4.99 to $9.99. So this is our in-app view. We've got strong colors. We've looked at the idea, the psychology behind color, the learning colors. And as you can see here, we have one definition. So angles, you can see here what it looks like, how to pronounce it, and how to do it. At the bottom, you will be able to toggle between English and Chinese, and this will also go through to Irish now. So for example, what
angles.
Hear it.
When two lines intersect at a point, the measurement of the opening between these two lines is called an angle. It is denoted using the angle symbol.
So these are outsourced staff. So this is what it looks like. And this is it, how to the process, how to find an angle. This then transfers through into the Chinese.
由公共端点的射线组成的几何对象
and how to do it. This will then naturally transfer through to the Irish version as well. But basically what we're doing here is we're giving academic support in the house, in the home, to teachers, parents, students, right, to support them when they are not able to access correct pronunciations, how to do things. And this is a static model at the minute. It's going to be developed further. So this is our market. Here you can see the Chinese students going to the US and Chinese students to the UK. an increase of 145% to the UK and 270% to the US. Or further markets which have just come up due to the interest of the Irish schools is the number of Irish students. And we also, because of my background in education support, it's very important to me. And this is one of the things that everyone has access to this information. And I'm looking to develop it.
Mary, very sorry. I'm afraid the time is up. Super sorry to be interrupting you.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, let us proceed. Yeah, time flies, unfortunately. Let us proceed to our question and answer session.
Right. Well, I'm going to leave that up there while I do it. No, I'll just leave that up there. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Any questions? Yeah, thanks. Quick question, Mary. How does this scale? Because right now, there's a human translation across subjects, but then as the number of sort of languages increase, how does this scale and how do you sort of use technology to scale?
Well, it's actually, I'm just going to take it off there, because what we've got now is our system. I work with my daughter who's IT and admin, and basically what we have at the minute, we started with Chinese and the English, GCSE and IB curriculum. I worked in St. John's, so I'm really lucky I was able to access, network with really good teachers, and I have extreme faith in the team. I mean, it's really, really positive. And by the system that we've put in place on using 365 and different graphic design units, we just transferred. As soon as the Irish schools said they were interested, we were able just to adapt our system, and they are at the minute doing the Irish, and we're leading through from the POC, the pilot, onto extending our database. We had previously 850 for our pilot, but now we'll be rating to have 3,000 terms. The first app is in math. I didn't get to say that to you. The first app is in math, and then we aim to go through the subjects, the engineering, technology, and science, physics being our next one. And then we also want to expand to, as I say, other languages, but sign language we're in negotiations with Batoid at the minute, the British Association for the Deaf. And there's glossaries out there. I really want this to be inclusive and accessible for all. I want to promote women, and because of these languages as well, cultural minorities. Did I answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions from our jury?
So it seems like you're using your particular app to teach STEM. What happens if this school has their own curriculum and they want to get this developed in multi-languages? How would you work with these type of schools?
Basically, in math, we are working on 3 different curriculums at the minute, but it's actually 4. We're doing the junior cycle of the Irish, 2 curriculums in the south of Ireland, GCSE and the IB. We find as we go through it, and there's lots of collaboration, negotiation, everything going on. So the base was IB initially. Now it's turned to GCSE. So they look and see what they collaborate so much, they fill in the GCSE, and then what is missing? What are you doing in your curriculum that we haven't done? And then they're adding it in as they go along. And the Irish, we're finding that majority of subjects, majority of areas that it's the same. They're doing the same thing. Right, it's very little difference. One will be doing Venn diagrams and one won't, but we are putting that information in there. We're also doing it for post-primary up to university access, which I was quite surprised. When this started, Queen's contacted me when I sent out word about it. Queen's is Russell Group in Belfast, and said, 1, they needed it for their access students to university, their Chinese students to university. 2, they wanted to advertise on it. So this is where we're aiming towards. We're getting together our main app for January release, and to hit the universities for revenue, main revenue as well. That's one of it. It's freemium and premium, and universities as well.
We will have a time for a tiny little question if Varun has any, for example. No, all good. Perfect. So thank you so much, Mary, for the wonderful presentation, and thank you to our jury members. So these are all the participants for today, and we are really excited about our next step now. So we will now request our jury to proceed to the breakout room for deliberation. We will be sending you an invite, a separate invite actually shortly. And in the meantime, we would request our startups to bear with us and to actually wait until you will be getting the results, because this would be, I would say, the most exciting part of the day today. So please bear with us for a tiny bit longer, and we'll proceed. So our jury members should have received now an invite to join a separate breakout room. Please proceed there. And in the meantime, as mentioned, dear participants, please bear with us. Thank you. Wonderful. So it seems that our jury members are done with their deliberation, and we're moving closer and closer to our culminating part of the event today. So we will be very soon announcing our winners for today. Just give us a couple more seconds. And it's wonderful to see all the networking process that is happening on the Zoom chat right now. It really feels like a live conference. Unfortunately, everything's done on Zoom, but
Yeah,
we're still
that's a
live.
shame that, I mean, we are not being able to meet virtually. Yeah, so that would have been much better experiences for everyone.
Right. So as we're moving closer, we are actually ready to be proceeding. Wait, just one moment, actually. Very, very sorry, but we'll be announcing our winners literally right now. Just 1 second. Right, so hopefully you all are excited, and once again, very sorry for the delay. And now our jury panel is, is ready to share the results. And we will be actually starting with our third place. So today we're identifying 3 winners, so 2 runners up and 1 winner. And let us see who the second runner-up will be of today's event. And the second runner-up is Arcvane AI. Congratulations. Now, I mean, there would have been a wonderful applause right now had it been a real life environment, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Suresh.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. Now, let us proceed with the first runner-up.
Yeah.
The first runner-up for our event today would be Kara Music. Ross, congratulations. And thank you so much for your great presentation. Again, a virtual applause to you, and well done. And who will be the winner of today's EWC 2021 UK? Let us see. And that will be Nasref. Congratulations. Congratulations on the wonderful presentation and on the wonderful pitch. We're super, super excited today. And yeah, well, virtual applause as usual. And with that, it would be wonderful to hear a couple words and, a couple advice maybe from our esteemed jury panel. So over to you. If anyone would like to say a couple words. Perhaps James, Ravi, Varun.
Congratulations to all the teams.
Well, thanks again. I think a lot of you, many of you are trying to really make an impact on the world and doing really meaningful stuff. I'm so happy to see startups around mental health and wellness. So I think these are all important startups, and by any means, please don't be discouraged. I think, you just have to do a little bit more work, get a good team together, build a working prototype, and start going to market and building some revenue. So I think you're all onto something. Just further down the line, I think you would be really winning more competition. So good luck.
Yeah, congratulations, especially to the top 3 winners. I think everybody here making it to the top 10, you should all congratulate yourselves. I think the journey to do startups is a very difficult one, but you guys already took the step and you guys are making inroads. So congratulations to every contestant in the top 10 finalists, but especially a big shout out to Masref for being the grand prize winner. I think you did an exceptional job. So congratulations there.
Hey, thanks. First of all, I think it's been an honor just listening to you guys pitch. I know the time was short, so it's hard. But thank you so much, firstly. And second, congratulations to everybody. For those who didn't win, do not get disheartened. I think the key here is, as you guys build this out, have a great team around you. Like the other gentleman said, have a long-term vision and attention to detail. As you build this up, that's what starts to differentiate you from everyone else. But yeah, shout out to Masref and the top 3 guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our jury members for your time and for your expertise today. And thank you to each one of you participants. It's always wonderful to hear so many amazing ideas and so many amazing pitches. And as we always say, each one of you is already a winner of your own kind, because you are actually you're actually at the national stage of a big international competition and a big international event. But obviously, congratulations to our runners-up and to our winner. Just a quick piece of information that all of you 3 will be contacted by our global team about the further steps and about the steps proceeding. So don't worry. You will definitely be aware of all the further steps and all the further information. And to those participants who didn't make it in the top 3, we would love to see you next year. And we would love to see you further in the EWC ecosystem. So thank you all so much once again for your time. And with that, I believe that we can conclude our event for today. And thank you all once again. Have a great
Thank you, everyone.
Day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a
Take
nice
care.
day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.